I'm sorry, but I'm like so confused. How much time do we have left?
Are we
Are we
over?
done?
That's how I would ask to get paid.
Danny, come on
I'm
now.
a broker. My time. My time is money.
You better not
Look at
be
your
serious.
face. Look at your
I was
face.
like, keep
I'm
it
actually just gonna
professional.
please edit that out.
Hi, Danny. So this is going to be a talk between friends who are realtors, and I feel like we spoke about this so many times before, and it just never happened. So I think the market is just booming right now. It's a good time to get our opinions out into the open. Yeah, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Many years in the making. We've been talking about this
Yeah.
for a few months.
Yeah,
And then
years.
years.
Yeah, let's be honest.
And then finally, it's come to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the market is booming, and I think there's a lot of new investors that are coming in who don't
Yeah.
really have all the information. Simultaneously, there's a horde of brokers that are coming into the market as well,
Yeah.
who don't really understand real estate the way that they should. And these guys, I feel like there's a dearth of good information coming
Yeah.
through the right brokers. A lot of people get misled sometimes into the wrong properties, and then that just gives the market a bad name, which is
Yeah.
really not the case.
Yeah.
It's really important to have a professional broker, an advisor
Yeah.
who understands the market, what's happening,
Yeah.
Based on what the person's investment requirements are.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what this is all about, putting that information out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we've known each other for a couple of years now, right? And I feel like obviously there are so many people doing real estate right now who have been here for the last peak in 2014. And before that, when Dubai was being built, right? Obviously, I was probably like a child back then in middle school. But I just feel like there has been so many shifts in this market, and everyone knows real estate market is very organic, right? It's not just about what's being built. It's about geopolitical and financial decisions made maybe even in the US or Russia, right? Like it impacts us directly. So I mean, I feel like after COVID, a lot of things have changed. So I think the first thing I want to talk about is like, how do you think the demographic of buyers have changed, and what kind of effect would you think it had on like real estate in general? Like, you have a lot of buyers for end use investors. Like, did you notice this over the last, I would say 3 years post COVID now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty broad. Just understanding how the real estate market has evolved
Yeah.
over the last, not even just 10 years, but let's say 40, 50 years
Yeah.
of Dubai's existence. Yesterday, I saw a picture, 1978,
Yeah.
Dubai Marina. It was like 100 villas, and there
Yeah.
was no JBR, there was no marina,
Yeah,
it was just 100
yeah,
villas.
yeah.
Obviously, they realized the potential of that area.
Yeah.
They tore everything down, rebuilt it up.
Yeah.
And I think Dubai has done that. They've seen, they've understood and forecasted where that demand is going to be. They've understood how to take essentially like just a pile of dust
Yeah.
and turn it into like a real estate gold mine.
Yeah.
What we've seen also, that's also been very well supported by the policies that the UAE government has come up with. And you made a really good point. It's not only about what happens in the UAE with respect to, the golden visa scheme or tax-free policies, but it also, a lot of the impact on real estate over here is global policies that happen somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Europe right now. There's rising inflation, rising fuel costs,
Yep.
energy costs are going
Yeah.
up, tax rates are going up.
Yeah.
What do people do, and where do they go? And Dubai has been that real estate for a lot of people who wanted to buy real estate. It's on their radar now, not
Yeah.
just simply because of the very sort of favorable policies that are here,
Yeah.
but what's happening in their own countries. They're forced to sort of look outside, and we're better to look than the UAE.
Yeah, for sure. For me, what I think it is that for the longest time, there was no like marketing towards the Middle East like there is now. I mean, just if you think about the expo, the way Saudi has made their exhibit for their country, I mean, it's so close, and I never really thought about visiting there. And I went to the expo pavilion and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know. I want to go there now. Like, girls group chat, let's go type of situation. So I feel like we are marketing the Middle East much better. And previously, it was about like geographical location when it came to investors, because what were the key investors for the longest time? Other Middle Easterns, I would say not even mainly Gulf Arabs, because there are a lot of like Iraqi and Egyptian owners who have been here and investors who've been here for a long time, but predominantly like Middle Easterns, Asians, like Pakistan and India has been dominating the market for a very long time, Chinese. And now I feel like there were the British expatriates who came here, opened their business, and obviously because they could see it's a long-term thing that they're doing here, they bought a property. But I feel like the Western world hasn't thought about Dubai, for example, let's just like stick to Dubai as a permanent location, as a place where they can, settle down, or even if they don't end up here, they will have some assets here, I don't know, for maybe down the line and things like that. And I feel like the market shifted a lot. Like, for example, everyone is opening short-term rentals, property management companies. A couple of years back when I first started real estate, it was possible to find property management company, but you didn't have that many options. And I feel like it was more focused on maybe like luxury, And now, like, if you go on and do a Google search on property management or short-term rentals, I mean, there's a plethora of options at different prices and different kind of packages of what you want your property to do. So technically now you don't even have to be here. Someone is here cashing your checks for you. Your assets are making money. And compared to Europe, I mean, I can go and compare to Hungary. If you get like 3-4% ROI is the average. If you get 5%, you're kind of like a big man now. Like, wow, you're doing really well. And then
5%.
Yeah, and then here, if I tell my client 8% ROI, he's like, "Why are you wasting my time, Laura? Like, why? When I can get like 12 or 11 net, why should I get 8%? I mean, 5% is what like banks give you for like, your
That's the mortgage
savings.
right now.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, things have changed. Things
Yeah.
have changed over the last few years. The UAE, the Middle East generally was still this region in the world that was shrouded in mystery, like to the west.
It was scary.
It was scary. Everybody thought everybody's riding around in camels, and
Yeah.
everybody's like a very conservative Islamic state. But I think even now, after all the marketing that the UAE has done and all the movies that somebody was telling me they actually saw Tom Cruise do the Burj Khalifa jump.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2004.
Yeah.
So even though they've positioned themselves in Hollywood and they've done all sorts of stuff to be sort of in the limelight,
force to
in the
reckon
news,
with
in the
kind of
news,
as well, yeah.
like you have the best restaurants, you have the tallest building in the world, you have the best beach lines and the coast.
Yeah.
But still, I meet people every day who've been here for 6 months or a year, and they're either from Europe, and every time these people have told their friends and family they're going to the UAE, the typical response has been, why would you go there? Why would you want to be in this oppressive society? And then they come down here, and later on their family comes and visits, and it's like, this veil of secrecy has been lifted, and you see the beautiful Dubai that it is.
Yeah.
And it's really just a very sort of multicultural melting pot of all of these different people. What's happened over the last few years is, and I think this is again post-COVID, we were one of the first economies in the world to open up to tourism.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just wanted to get out of the house because Europe was in a lockdown, as we all know, for 6 months. And I mean a serious lockdown, not the kind of lockdown that we had here.
Yeah.
They were really stringent. You couldn't go meet friends and family. You couldn't go to the grocery store. We could still do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when people came down here and they realized, okay, this is not as bad as it is back home, number one. Number two is it's actually a really nice place.
Yeah.
And people are really nice. And number three was it's tax-free.
Yeah.
And I still have such a hard time. My whole clientele has shifted, as you said rightly, from largely South Asian and North African clientele over the last 3 years has moved completely to the European side. And I still have such a hard time explaining to everybody that the tax rate here, the capital gains tax, the rental income tax, all of the tax is the same rate, which is 0%.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, there must be something. I know there's
Like,
nothing.
where's the lie? Where's the hidden cost?
Where's that asterisk? Where's the fine print? You know? But that's how it is. And that's very attractive.
Yeah.
Because even now, for example, in London, the property market is sort of cooling off, right?
Yeah.
5% even over there right now would be, if somebody could get that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 10, 12%, 8% on like even lower,
Yeah.
sort of, lower ticket sizes, 8%.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have a hard time digesting that till they
Yeah.
pull the trigger on the first property and then they see that coming in.
Yeah.
And then they realize, okay, this is actually
Yeah.
a pretty good,
I
solid
think this
reverse
is a
market.
big hurdle I'm having. So I would say 2021, like 90% of my income was from people brand new to Dubai, relocating from Europe.
Yeah.
I don't think in 2021, I was still pretty new to the off-plan space. So even I was learning a lot at that time. But honestly, like all my money was made through people after 2021 getting sick of whatever their home country is. And they're like, no, I come vacation in Dubai. They already knew. So that hurdle was kind of already overcome in the past. I didn't have to deal with that as such. But even so, like they would buy their homes with me. And I was like, listen, guys, things are picking up a little. This is 2021, right? Beginning of 2021. It's like, guys, things are picking up. And they're like, no, yeah, but it's because of after COVID. So obviously it's not going to last. So, I don't know what. And I told them, I was like, buy your home and even something small, just go for something small, just, test the waters.
Yeah.
And everyone, and the funny thing is, but I mean, I have really good relationships with most of my, especially long-term investors. So we can have that joking kind of, banter, but they're like mad at me. Like I got told off. They're like, why didn't you tell me to buy 2 of these? And I don't know what. And I was like,
Right.
but I did though.
Exactly,
And,
right? Yeah.
Obviously if they make more money, better for me, because again, to this day, majority of the money I would make to this day, I would say, is because of the returning clients who are either reinvesting their money. They have more money that they're like, okay, I got a little bit more. Let's do something else. They're just excited about the process, or referrals.
Yeah.
So, and this is one thing that I think a lot of agents are not understanding, and a lot of investors and buyers have to be aware of. You know how we always talk about qualifying our clients? I feel like clients need to start qualifying their agents, because
100%.
some people are here for that quick money. They're going to be here for 2-3 years, and phone number disconnected. They probably wouldn't even get like their Emirates ID won't be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they go back home and they're like, well, it's like, I'm not there anymore, And then we are the ones kind of who are thinking about this as a long-term situation, who are picking up the pieces and trying to get it back together. So I think it's really important for people to both ways try to find that person who they trust, who's not here for the quick wins. They are here to be like a long-term consultant. And especially because we have this wave of new people coming in, obviously people who have been investing in Dubai for 20 years, they have their agent.
Yeah.
And also they can really quickly smell BS when it comes to agents. So it's,
I mean, yes, it's such a key point, which you said, right? It's so important for brokers to understand that a client is not just one deal.
No.
Right? It never is. And you've got to treat the client as an advisor. A lot of times when I go and have a meeting with the client, I sit down with them and talk to them about their lifestyle, or I just observe, what they're doing, if their family's around, what their kids are like. And I start automatically understanding what would best suit his needs, right? And then I advise him accordingly. There's not this one cookie cutter approach that one property is the right one for everybody. That's not the case. Different people require customized solutions, and you just have to be a little more aware and actually just honest. Think of it like if it was your own money and you were in their position, where would you want to guide this person to go and buy a property? And a lot of agents don't do that. They just look at that one deal. They think that, okay, they've got to nail this client no matter what happens. Because if this deal goes...
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And that very sort of, aggressive approach and like, I just have to get this deal done. No, that's not really the way. Because like you, my strongest pipeline still is my client referrals.
Okay.
Right?
I was waiting for this, but okay, I'm glad. Okay,
the only reason is because I've always approached them with something completely different to something that even if they referred me to somebody else, and I was like, no, this is not for him. This was for
Yeah.
you, and they need something else because it doesn't fit their criteria. And it's not
Yeah.
going to make sense for them to
Yeah.
buy what you bought.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing, and that just builds a very healthy relationship with the client, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of brokers don't do that, and clients don't understand that why brokers pushing a certain project because they're just
Yeah.
regurgitating this information that they've been given by their company or
Yeah.
or one of the developers that said
Or social media.
or social media, and they're just trying to bring that out there. But that's
Yeah.
not how you're supposed to approach it. It's impossible to for and on the client side, a lot of times they give the brokers a hard time. Like your client was like, "Why didn't you tell me?"
Yeah.
But we were telling everybody.
Yeah.
We were screaming from the rooftops, 2021, buy it. You'll never find these prices
Yeah.
again. And everybody said that the market is going to go lower.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's mass exodus of people leaving Dubai
Yeah.
and going back to their home countries because we lost
Yeah.
our jobs. But Dubai is resilient,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't give up.
Yeah.
So all it has to do is and it's also not like one of those, European states where everything is so bureaucratic and everything has
Yeah.
to be approved. I mean, you make a decision,
Yeah.
and it has to be real time,
Yeah.
and it has to have an impact immediately.
Yeah.
Any client, and I think this is really important information. Any client, any investment strategy that is always trying to time the bottom and sell at the peak is a failed strategy right there.
Yeah.
You cannot. You
Yeah.
cannot perfectly time the bottom and the top.
Yeah.
What you have to look at is market indicators, right? And market indicators will tell you where the market is going to go. And you might get those indicators before the market hits the bottom. And it's okay if you bought it 20% higher than the bottom was. Because in the long term, that market is going to go up. And in the meantime, you're going to hold on to that asset. You're going to make revenue off it. And in all probability, if you're a foreign investor,
That part.
that foreign
Yeah.
currency exchange
Yeah.
is going to be favorable on that asset.
Yeah.
And similarly, you don't have to time the top perfectly. You can sell
Yeah.
before, as long as you could sell in Palm Jumeirah when it's going
Yeah.
up, and then you could make a couple of investments in Business Pay that's
Yeah.
done really well in the last
Yeah.
year, or in JVC that
Yeah.
has astonished everybody.
Yeah.
And that's how you sort of multiply your money.
Yeah.
You know?
I just feel like, again, one thing is that people just need to I feel like, okay, so a lot of people get really excited about, wow, Dubai real estate, I have this much money, and they leverage themselves to the limit. And I think that's also wrong because last year I bought my first property here in Dubai, and thank you. But the point would be is that I bought it at a really good price, right? But that good price was already, like you said, probably like 10-15% higher than people in 2021. But I bought my property, handed over this year. My ROI is insane right now for a full yearly rental contract, right? And everyone that I am pitching a similar project, a similar product, they're like, yeah, but you bought it 15% cheaper than it is now. And I was like, yeah, but I also bought it 15% more expensive than the guys before.
Yeah.
And, and I just feel like you said, there needs to be an understanding of it's going to happen, an increase, a decrease. And I also think, like I said, you shouldn't leverage yourself to the max, right? Because everyone is saying, well, Laura, you can make like 200,000 on this property. And we're talking about a studio, right? In a year and a half, it was completed, and the premium on it is insane. And they're like, oh, so you can sell it now because it's at a peak, blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, guys, the reason it took so long for me to buy this first property, because I didn't want to do mortgage, because I'm very old school and I need to get over this, right? But I didn't want to do mortgage. And also I don't necessarily need this money. So this money would have been in my bank account just doing nothing, because again, what's the best interest rate you can get on your savings account? Like 5%, and that's like, wow. And you have to put like at least 800,000, and I don't know what, not touch it for 6 months. Like for me, this money is like as if it's in the bank account. I'm getting an 11.5% net ROI on it, right? And when I decide to sell it, I'm most likely going to make money. But even if I made zero money in 10 years time, right? That's 10 years of rent.
Yeah.
and the security that if my life fails, I can just move into that studio, and at least I don't have, rent to pay, because again, rent is really expensive in Dubai at the moment, and a lot of people are struggling.
Yeah.
So I think everyone, like, real estate is not like crypto and stocks and, investing in the right company that's just going to blow up. Like, I feel like real estate, you have to also remember that even Donald Trump is not a millionaire now because he started like 5 years ago investing in real estate, right? Like his great grandfather, and whoever is doing really well in Dubai right now, they're like third generation, like, foreigners living in Dubai. Like their grandparents or great grandparents started buying stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone wants quick money, and it's possible. Of course, it's possible.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be like your main, like, objective.
You shouldn't be gambling with the money that you have. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I have a little different perspective on that. I
Let's
like
hear
the
it.
fact that you can leverage a payment plan into a property. But again,
Yeah.
it really depends on who I'm talking to across
Yeah.
the table.
Your risk appetite as well. You know what I
It
mean?
has to be your risk appetite,
Yeah.
right? If you're a guy who is sort of, goes for it and you feel like this is something that you can take, I would never tell somebody to gamble all of I mean, as a matter of fact, I have a client right now who's got a little pool, and they're trying to leverage that into a bigger property. And I'm completely against it because this is the guy's life savings.
Yeah.
And I know the property is going to do well, and off-plan properties always do. There's almost, I don't want to say guaranteed, but there's no reason, unless the market completely crashes, that the property
I mean, it
shouldn't
depends
appreciate.
on developer.
Unit, the
Location,
view, location,
yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah.
So if you have all of those parameters right, if you have
Then it's pretty guaranteed.
This is like good stuff that we're giving out, by the way. This
I
is like
know.
stuff that people are supposed to come to us and pay us for.
Exactly.
But
Just
if you
free consultation right there.
But if you have the right property identified, there is no reason why an off-plan property should not appreciate. The only reason would be is that if there was some sort of pandemic, maybe, or some sort of situation where the whole market went down.
Yeah.
And in that situation, that would be for anything. That would be any business that you put your money in.
Exactly.
Or at that point, even if you had your money in the bank, probably inflation is going to hit your money anyway.
Yeah.
So there's some people that I would recommend, and I have, and it's been very successful. Like we've made 30% returns in 9 months.
Nice.
Right. But I knew that the person behind who was doing that had the capital to even put down 100% if need be. But that's not what we were going for.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for somebody whose life savings are going to be $200,000, there's no way I'm going to say, hey, invest to flip a property that's worth $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Because for some, unforeseen reason, even if there's a 5% chance, that would be devastating to anyone.
Yeah.
So, but I would recommend, if somebody has like $1 million, don't go and buy one property.
Yeah.
Definitely invest that, spread that across multiple units in different locations, studios, one beds, whatever you can do.
Yeah. I think one thing I would say about this is that definitely the most money you can make in Dubai and most success stories also don't come from a $200,000 investment, right?
Yeah.
Like these crazy stories that everyone is chasing, it's coming from first the comfort of knowing that if the price is not where you want it to be once it's completed, I'll pay it off and live in it, rent it out, have it sit empty until I find the right buyer.
Yeah.
That level of confidence, when it comes down to negotiation, it will give you an advantage, a leverage that you can't, you can't pretend that it's not there. So I would say that's one thing. And the other thing is that the market, which is actually going to go into the next topic that I wanted to talk about, the market has shifted so significantly that now we have this high net worth individuals like flooding the Dubai market. And I feel like you can either make good money on these, I would say, better priced and a bit undervalued areas and properties, because there's the chance that, with infrastructure and F&B and all of these things coming up around it, it will go up in value. Or you have to go like Dorchester Collection or Bulgari Residences or, stuff like that. I feel like the in-between market, like if you buy, I don't even know what to, I don't know. But like, if you buy like a townhouse, you will like, definitely, I don't think there's any area in Dubai right now that is not appreciating in value on a big scale. Like month to month, sure, but like on a big scale, I don't think there's anything. But if you want to make good money, then we definitely need to discuss the super luxury market.
Yeah.
And I think it ties into the evolution of Dubai real estate and how the design has been affected. It ties into expatriates from the western part of the world coming into Dubai and into real estate here. And the trends have been crazy. So I don't know if you want me to go over some numbers. This is from Knight Frank's report for Q2. So overall, the values rose 4.8%, which is okay, right?
Reasonable.
Yeah, but prime property prices rose 11.6%, right?
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
yeah, and Dubai experienced a 44% hike in prime home prices the last year. In 1 year, 44% on luxury properties. This is the highest globally.
Yeah.
And I mean, Knight Frank has the information, they have the data to run these numbers.
Right.
On average, we're still 11% below the 2014 peak. So,
okay. So there's still room to grow.
yeah.
And
So
the
when
market
everyone is
conditions-
saying, yeah,
And the market conditions now,
Yeah.
globally as well as locally, are not the same as they were in 2014.
Nope.
So there's a lot more people that are coming here and who've got Dubai on their radar.
yeah,
I like the luxury market because it's big tickets
Yeah.
and it's big gains.
Yeah.
If you have the capital to do it.
Yeah.
And luxury is just, it's nice.
it's nice.
It's
For
a
us
tra-
to do a viewing, oh my
it's-
God,
it's
coffee
alluring,
is better at those developers' offices,
it's nice
right?
to be at these places that are
Yeah.
like, worth $20 million and it's
Yeah.
fun. But I still feel like there's a lot of room to grow even in other areas.
Okay. Tell me. I'm interested.
I mean, of course, luxury is, first of all, like Dubai is the fourth largest active luxury market in the world.
Yeah.
Behind LA, New York, London. This
Yeah.
is the fourth
Yeah.
largest active market.
Yeah.
But in all of those cities, like for $1 million over here in Dubai, you'd get about 1,150 square foot, which is,
yeah.
you'd get 1/3 of that
Yeah.
in London or in
Yeah.
New York for that same amount of money.
Yeah.
So luxury is very active.
Yeah.
And it's very accessible. Like
Yeah.
it's not a barrier to entry for most
Yeah,
people anywhere else in the world.
I think in the same report they mentioned that it's one of the most accessible
Yeah.
ones in the world as well globally.
Exactly.
So even though our prices experienced a 44% increase, it's still like
Way
the
lower
cheapest
than anything
out
else
of-
that's out
yeah.
there in
Yeah.
the world, because
Yeah.
like there's no question about it. Dubai is on the map with all of the
Yeah.
other cities. The way it's progressing, the way it's a hub for commerce and trade.
Yeah.
We have international seminars here. We have trade shows here.
Yeah.
We have everything goes.
We're improving.
We're improving.
Yeah.
We're improving, and we're developing, and there's no
Yeah.
end to it. So yeah, people can get into luxury
Yeah.
if they have that capital, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of room for growth in places like JVC and Business Bay. Business
Yeah.
Bay is doubled per square foot in the last year and a
Yeah.
half, and there's still room to grow for it.
Yeah.
JVC, I think just a year ago,
Yeah.
was the average selling price over there was 950 dirhams square foot.
Yeah.
And now is gone up to 1,250 dirhams per
Yeah,
square foot.
that's where I invested.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and now imagine
Yeah.
that if you'd only paid down 40-50% of that,
yeah.
and sort of the market has gone up by 30%,
Yeah.
you've only paid 50%
Yeah.
of your ticket price. You're
Yeah.
making 70-80%
Honestly,
returns.
I was even mad at myself. I was doing the same thing my clients did to me, like, you should have bought two.
more. You should have bought more.
two.
Always,
at least.
always.
Like, at least,
Like, look, in retrospect, everybody's, 6
Smart,
by 6.
yeah, it's like
oh, I
so-
knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, you should have done something about
Yeah.
it. And it's, you know what it is? It's that hesitation to pull the trigger to
Yeah.
make the move. And I feel like that hesitation is because of lack of information, lack of good information.
Yeah.
If you knew for certain the mechanism by which off-plan properties are meant to go up in
Yeah.
price, you would feel a lot more confident in
Yeah.
investing in off-plan
Yeah.
properties. Like, okay, the reason they're cheaper than ready properties is essentially the developer is taking your money to finance the build of the project.
Yeah.
They have to incentivize you to
Yeah.
be basically buying these blueprints that they're showing you on a
Yeah.
PDF, right?
Yeah.
And
Some renders.
Some renders, some really nice fancy renders, but they have to incentivize you because essentially you're financing the project.
Yeah.
So over time, the price will go up. And the developer does this in many areas, especially in areas where they're developing communities, where the first phase they'll launch at a certain price, then they'll bring up the price 15%.
Yeah.
And the second wave of investors will buy it at a higher price.
Yeah.
That also inherently protects the first phase of investors who bought at a lower price.
Yeah.
And then it keeps going on,
Yeah.
and they keep releasing in different phases
Yeah.
and they keep bringing the price up.
Yeah.
So that's how the market mechanism works over here. A lot of people have questions about developers, and this has happened in the past,
Yeah.
and it has maybe 10, 15 years ago, where developers came in, started building
Guns
something.
blazing.
And this is what we're going to do, and then it never happened.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen anymore
Yeah.
because RERA and DLD have tightened up. The
Escrow
structure.
accounts.
Escrow accounts
Yeah.
have come into play. I mean, now your money as an investor into off-plan properties goes into the escrow account of the developer.
It's protected by like the government.
And the government
yeah.
periodically goes in and surveys these buildings.
Yeah.
The developer can only get access to those funds
Yeah.
at certain
Yeah.
construction points.
Yeah.
So at 30%, maybe they get another
Yeah.
5%. And then what happens is not only is the client's money protected, but it's in the developer's interest
Mm.
to complete the building as quickly as possible because their profits are locked in at the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they want to complete it as quickly as possible. The investor's money is protected, and it's safer. It's a safer investment.
Yeah. I think that's why also the payment plans have kind of changed over the years, because before it was very date oriented. So it was locked in with the dates, right? But
Yeah.
now I would say like,
Construction linked.
yeah, it's everything. I was trying to give an example where it's linked to date, but I can't. I feel like most developers, especially, I feel like we are both very finicky about what developers we would work with. So from the ones I work with, I cannot tell you a single one that would tie their payment plan to just dates and not construction progress, because they have the confidence to say it is happening.
Yeah.
So when we reach this point and all of the email that goes out at, for example, 40% completion, you have to pay 10%. There's a certificate attached by the Dubai Land Department of their survey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like good developers are definitely focused on this and what happened before. And I mean, we can still see this in, for example, the marina, those half-done buildings, also Business Bay as well.
I live next to one. It's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore, yeah. So, I mean, I can definitely understand why they would be a bit scared or skeptical.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dubai has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, it goes like week to week even. Like before we started this, I was telling you like, oh, I saw a post about the golden visa getting updated, that there's a new way to get a golden visa with different price. And you were like, are you sure this doesn't even, but because things are happening, like we have to be very diligent with the information because it changes so quickly, because they're making all these steps.
Yeah, I like that because you have to adapt.
It makes it easier for the clients.
And if you have these policies that are welcoming, it makes it easier, smoothens the transition.
Yeah, for sure.
For foreign investors to come into the Dubai market. I feel like you and I are going to have to change our strategy with working with certain developers now, because not only are clients coming in from the international market, but now new developers are coming in from the international market. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Have you noticed
Sometimes
how many new developers are coming in here? Like people who they've got no track record in Dubai, but they've got track records everywhere else, and they build really good quality projects. And they want to come here and they want to build. And you know what that's going to bring in? Is going to bring in, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's going to bring in new concepts, new styles.
A bit of competition.
A little bit of competition, yeah.
Because the design is getting a bit stale.
Right? Yeah, you want something new and fresh. Somebody out there who's got some ideas that they haven't been able to roll out over there, bringing it over here.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be really nice to see how the landscape evolves over time now.
Yeah.
And these new developments that are coming out. It's going to be very fancy.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of variety, new concepts coming out, new formats coming out. Even post-COVID, there's such an influence on, you'd just get a one bedroom, which is very large, but now you get a one bedroom with a study because a
Yeah.
lot of people are working from home.
Or with the pools on the terraces. This is like
The
the
pools,
new
the
thing.
terraces came
Yeah.
out for a while,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I'm just eager to really see, and I'm so happy
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because everybody has, after a certain point in time, you get these blinders and this
Yeah.
tunnel vision
Yeah.
on what works and why change it.
Yeah.
But then some maverick can come into the market and go like, I'm going to switch this up, right?
Yeah.
The facade is going to be like something completely different
Yeah.
you haven't seen, or some form of like design or architecture in the building that's
Yeah.
not been done here before. It doesn't have to be very expensive, but
Yeah.
it just has to be unique.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that coming
Yeah.
up in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I feel like also one thing that people, and you brought this up as well, and this is something I speak to one of my favorite developer agents with, and he was telling me, because I was complaining about the size of the properties, and he was like, Laura, listen, first of all, the demographic has changed, which is what we said. Before, when Dubai was building communities and buildings, and it had to happen quickly because the expansion of the city was so, it wasn't sudden, it was years in the making, but it still happened very quickly.
Yeah.
So they had to come out with buildings quickly to accommodate not just the workers, but their families, right? And I mean, you're coming from an Asian background, I'm half Middle Eastern, and like we have big families, right?
Yeah.
So for us, a one bed could never be 650 square feet. That's outrageous, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you're thinking about, which is what you mentioned, that if you compare the sizes here compared to London and New York and Hong Kong, and I have a client from Singapore and he's telling me like, it's like a closet basically. And now I'm complaining about 650 square feet, one bedrooms. And this guy is from Algerian, but lived in Paris again.
Yeah.
Like he's like, so what's the issue? Because in Paris, my one bed was like 450 square feet.
Yeah,
And I was
exactly.
so happy
Yeah.
to even secure that. And I don't have to live with like 5 other people. So
Yeah.
what's,
And then
you know?
parking is an issue, and I mean, there's so many problems
Exactly.
in just general life.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Europe. I like that I'm in Dubai
Yeah.
very much.
Everyone was like, why are you here? And now they're like, oh, I have my CV. Like, can you give it to someone? I was like, 8 years ago when I moved here, everyone's like, Dubai?
Yeah.
Like, you're so young as well. Like, what, alone? Like, what is going on? But I mean, I studied architecture and I was like, listen, if not Dubai, like, where would I go?
We
as
do
a young,
have a really nice skyline.
Yeah.
A business
I mean,
way. There's
but
a
it's
lot of
just like
fancy
the
stuff.
speed of things and the focus on innovation and technology and all of these things, and just the fact that it's such a melting pot of people. I feel like this is what America was meant to be, because we're kind of living here in harmony, Every time I meet a new person, it's like, wow, tell me about your culture. When they meet me, they're like, oh, Laura, Hungary. I've never met anyone from Hungary. And you're half Palestinian. Like, this is so cool. And I mean, this is an issue there, right?
Right.
And they have a big melting pot. And instead of utilizing that, they're not. And here in Dubai, we're really flourishing. Like, there's becoming like a culture as well, not just the Emirati culture, which is obviously going to be here, but just the culture of art and kids on the street like skateboarding and skateboarding parks. Like, this is what creates
building up now.
communities
Yeah.
and social events, which is, I think, also attracting more people in general
I really like
to
that you
the country and the
mentioned that. I
city.
really like that you mentioned all of that, because I feel Dubai is moving from becoming a transient city
Yeah.
to a city that has more roots
Yeah.
established. Like, people
Yeah.
want to stay here for longer.
Yeah.
The golden visa with a 2 million dirham investment is one way to get people to feel like they belong
Mortgage
here.
for investors.
It's no longer that city that you come in here for 5, 6, 8 years and
Yeah.
you just work and you make money and then
And then
you
you
bounce.
leave, yeah.
That transient nature of Dubai is changing, and people want to like stay here now because of the safety, because of
Yeah.
policies, because of the tax-free income. And
Yeah.
I feel like that the real estate market is going to evolve based off of those
Accordingly,
expectations
yeah.
Of people.
Yeah.
So we're going to see, properties that are geared towards families, young adults, newlyweds,
Yeah.
People who want to stay here for the next 20, 30, 40 years
Yeah.
without thinking about thinking of this place as a permanent home
Yeah.
rather than just some place that's going to, they're only there for
Yeah.
a short stint.
Yeah.
And, skateboard parks, the art and culture scene is exploding over here.
Yeah.
You have Art Dubai coming up. You have all these NFT art groups
Yeah.
also coming up.
Yeah.
And they're really looking at Dubai as the center of where they want to
Yeah.
do their entire commerce.
It's like the perfect, not just like location wise, geographically, but just overall the sense of what Dubai is trying to achieve. It's just the perfect spot for all the different like countries and I would say like the continents to come together here and explore each other's culture and what we're learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just
No,
such
100%.
a good location for this. And
even the social relationships that people have over here.
yeah.
And everywhere else in the world, they're polarized. People
Yeah.
are polarized. People have
Yeah.
very strong opinions.
Yeah.
People are, opposing and fighting over. And there's these,
Yeah.
without getting into it in too much detail,
Yeah.
but over here you don't have that. You have
Yeah.
people with opposing political beliefs, different religions, but they all come together and they sort of gel in.
Yeah.
And it becomes this exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
And they're somehow or the other, Dubai and the UAE has this sort of calming effect on
Yeah.
everyone. It was like,
Yeah.
you could speak about whatever you want to and you can debate it but
Respectfully.
respectfully.
Yeah.
And then I think that's what the world should be.
Yeah.
That's what everybody should be aspiring towards,
Yeah.
creating a society like that where
Yeah.
where people can talk about these different ideas. And
Yeah.
you don't have to agree with me.
Yeah.
But maybe
I
you
mean,
can see
we
things
don't agree on
like
a lot of
99%,
things.
99% of the
Yeah.
stuff, except for when it comes to real estate.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
But I just feel like that's so important as an example to put out there for the rest of the world, because it seems like every time you put on the news, it seems like chaos is going on and ensuing
Yeah.
everywhere else. And then Dubai is just, it's safe, it's calm.
Yeah.
You have people who have differing opinions,
Yeah.
but you don't see, you see
Yeah.
them exchanging those ideas.
Yeah.
You see that perspective evolve
Or
when you
just
speak to someone.
move in different circles. It's just,
Yeah.
it is what it is here.
Exactly.
Our time is coming to an end shortly. So towards
Is
the
it
end,
really?
what I wanted to talk about
Yes.
is what is like your favorite thing in terms of real estate happening in Dubai. So we talked about the evolution, how the design and the sizes changed in terms of real estate and properties, who are coming in now to buy, how like things they don't know and all of this. So considering everything, the luxury market, off plan, the benefits of it, like what would you say is like a hot project that is happening in Dubai?
I'll tell you. Let me say this. I'm.
Are you not gonna give away your secrets? Is that it?
No, as I said before, I customize it based on what my clients' requirements are. But what I really am excited about is the market as a whole, because as I said before, new developers are coming in.
Yeah.
They're buying up. I mean, we've helped some developers buy plots of land, and new projects are coming up in
Yeah.
these areas
Yeah.
that are going to be better quality than everything else that's been
Yeah.
there. Some of these designs have come out of Europe, so they look phenomenal.
I mean, Sota as well from South Africa, what they're doing is
Yeah.
insane.
Right.
Insane.
So I'm really excited to see what comes up next. Dubai Maritime City, right, is...
So I was gonna go on the other side of the city to
Oh,
Jebel
yeah?
Ali,
I mean,
Palm Jebel Ali.
Same.
Yeah.
Like Jebel Ali
Yeah.
and Dubai Maritime City are getting a complete reboot, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine what that thing is, that space is going to look like.
Yeah.
We've seen Dubai Creek Harbor come up in front of us, which is
Yeah.
just a plot of land.
Yeah.
And now look at it. It looks
Yeah.
beautiful driving
Yeah,
past
I
it.
think when we even first started selling it, we were just like, "This? Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it rose up from
Yeah.
some of the ashes in front of us.
And what, in 2 years?
In
3 years?
In 2 years.
Yeah.
And the
insane.
prices have skyrocketed. So I feel
Yeah.
like Dubai Maritime City is a good spot. I'm excited to see what evolves there
Mm.
and what becomes of it, as I am about Palm Jebel Ali as well, but more
Yeah.
so Maritime City.
Yeah, really.
mean,
I don't
look,
know.
because it depends on who you're speaking to, right? If I'm talking to somebody who wants to get a really low ticket size into the luxury market, but doesn't want to get into what's already established, Palm Jebel Ali might be something that you can look at for the next 5 to 7, 8 years. I should be getting paid for this.
Oh my God.
But for Maritime City,
I'll buy
I
you
feel
coffee
like,
later. Here we go.
For Maritime City,
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that everybody can afford.
Yeah.
And is going to get some really good capital appreciation in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think our approach is a little bit different because I'm just seeing all these numbers, these ultra high net worth individuals that like, this is like the new term for them, right? And I feel like one thing is when you live this close to the sea and you're not getting like something right on the coast, it's just a shame, right? So this proximity to water and you're living like, I don't know, in a really nice gated community, but not by the water. And I feel like all these people coming in to Dubai, they want that coastal living on the beach, private beach.
Right.
So I feel like...
So I'm talking about investors. You're talking
Yeah.
about people who want to live in end users. And if it was an investor and you wanted a coastal sort of, buy the whole building. You know, we'll get you one.
Oh, okay.
We'll get you one.
He'll get you sorted with the whole building. I mean, listen, we've been running campaigns on it, and all I'm gonna say is the two type of clients I get is either people who made crazy money on Palm Jumeirah, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm about to do it again. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Or people who are kicking themselves because they didn't
buy-
believe in it at
Yeah.
that time, and they're like, fool me once, can't fool me twice. Like, I'm not going there again.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. I mean, it's opposite sides of the city, very different products.
But very similar in terms of the story because they're
Fair
just
enough,
getting rebooted,
Yep.
right? Very different price points,
Yeah.
but we're going to see some crazy capital appreciation in both those areas. So depending on the investment size, either or, I feel like.
Or
these
what
are
they're
two-
looking for as well,
Yeah, yeah.
again.
And apart from those two projects that are coming up in Dubai, I'm just really excited to see what happens to the market over the next 6 months to a year and a half.
Yeah, we just joined BRICS. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we just got a gambling license.
I mean,
Come on.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen here now?
oh my goodness,
Right?
mayhem is what's
It's
going to
an
happen in
influx of
Dubai.
people from all this GCC,
Yeah.
Northern Africa. They don't have to fly out any or go to like these, under the table backroom poker
Yeah.
tables. They can just come down here, fly
Yeah.
in, spend a couple of
Yeah.
days in Dubai, enjoy the weather, the coast,
Spend
go
their
down,
money.
spend their money, go to Ras Al
Buy
Khaimah.
property.
Let's
know?
just have that playing on loop, like
Yeah.
in a very small decibel.
Yeah.
Buy a property. We'll
Yeah.
inceptionize that.
This is the place.
We
Can
need to cut
gamble
that
here.
out.
For sure. Yeah. I think we're moving in a really good direction, and there's just so many things that has happened that built up Dubai real estate to where it is now, and so many new things to look forward to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even today when my clients are telling me like, Laura, the price is like, why should I buy it at the peak price? But like I said, we're still on average below 2014, and I'm sorry, the market in 2014, you cannot compare it to the market today. Like 2014, like to know the architect of a certain project was useless. Nobody cared about it. They maybe cared about the view and the size, but now you have actual international architects, interior designers, facade designers. I don't know what the amenities are.
Insane.
My JVC properties are having indoor cinema that you can book as a resident, paddle courts, infinity pools, lounge deck in JVC. So this is not like the highest end of the market.
Yeah.
And
Habibi, come to Dubai.
exactly. Let's be cheesy, but honestly. So definitely, it's. I hate to say this, but it's still a good time. You know what I mean?
It is a good time. No, I mean, the trends, the numbers, the environment supports that.
Yeah.
That's not a matter of, well, it is a matter of opinion to a certain extent, but it is based off of the trends and the data.
There's so much to look forward to. So I definitely don't think and I don't think that, like, I'm not going to say this because this is going on the internet. So I'm not going to say I don't think there's going to be a crash, because this is something, like we said, we would never know. But this market like slow down or whatever, I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
No. But I do feel like
Is that no?
It's not happening.
Not happening.
It's
No.
categorically.
Okay.
But I do feel like it is gonna, rents might cool off, and the reason
I hope so, because
because they've been going up astronomically, right?
Yeah.
rents might cool off, and the reason for that is because a lot of properties that were being built and off plan over the last couple of years are
Yeah.
going to get handed over now and next year.
Yeah, end
and
of
then there'll be like this,
2023.
and
Yeah,
there'll
yeah.
be like this, a supply injection in the market.
Yeah.
And I think rents will cool off, and I think they need to cool off a little bit.
Yeah, because the middle class, like,
Yeah, people are like it's becoming a little difficult now.
Yeah.
For people who's been living in a certain area for a long time, they want to move out. And
Yeah.
they want to go to like cheaper areas, and I
Yeah.
think that's going to cool off in the next 6 months. I don't think it's going to regress.
Okay.
I think it's just going to cool off.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to have an impact on sales at all.
Yeah.
That's just going to be on the rental side.
We've been in the market for some time now. We both kind of know what triggered certain events to get us to this point. We can kind of also identify what events that are happening right now will be most likely positively affecting the market. So I just want to just thank you for your time, because I know you have the background for this. You have, a finance background as well. So I really value your opinion. And I know on a lot of things, other than the overall love for real estate, our opinions are very different, I would say. But I just wanted to thank you for your time and giving that little like insider information of what you think will be, the next big thing in Dubai. Definitely, I think Maritime City, Jebel Ali, all these areas are to look out for. But there's just so much happening, right? Like, it's so hard to pinpoint, I would say.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To help navigate this labyrinth of real estate developments.
I mean, like you said, it's even for us, like, I like to think I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to real estate.
But that market is so quick, right?
I was just telling my client, I was like, honestly, I'm going to come out with like a guidebook of what's happening. But it's like,
it's
so quick.
It's obsolete in 6 hours.
Exactly.
And I'm not even exaggerating.
No problem.
You could give a property to somebody, and then they'll be like, give me a day to think about it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's impossible. You just have to be in the trenches, sort of, working on your product information and knowledge all the time to be able to share that with your potential clients.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I would definitely want to do this more often.
Okay.
If you're open to it. I think we gave some good insights, and I will definitely. Should I share your social media page as well?
No problem.
So in case people want to get in touch, I feel like we actually love what we do. We're here to stay. So
yeah,
I don't want to toot our own horn. I don't know how to.
I have a lot of respect for this profession.
Yeah.
And the fraternity that works in it, who do it right.
And our clients as well. You know what I mean? I actually like my clients. Like, I want them to make money.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet people from like different walks of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not mundane at all.
No. I mean, this is why we quit our 9 to 5, right? That's why we're here today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, thank you so much for coming today.
Always.
And for your expert insights, as always. And I hope to do this sometime soon again and just get more information out. I feel like there's so much information to be shared, so many new things starting off and happening. And like you said, you take this serious, and I feel like people need to have this information for sure. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.